I bought Forspoken on PS5 for £5. I didn't want to play Forspoken at all, but I had £5. Forspoken on PS5 has sat on my desk, complete with character cards, sealed since November the 17th, 2023. Yes, this was a waste of £5. I'm an idiot who does stuff like this as I look over at my hobby graveyard, but in recent days, this pristine copy of a middling PS5 exclusive from Square Enix has started to haunt me. I no longer have a PS5 with a disc drive, so of course I want to play Forspoken more than I wanted to play any other game in my life. Okay, hyperbole much, I admit that I wanted to play Witcher 3 more than I currently want to play Forspoken. Happy? Back to the point I've yet to make, I don't think I'm happy with the prospect of an all-digital future for games consoles. When the PS5 Pro arrived, my OG PS5 got shipped off to a nice farm that I'd heard is wonderful, and things seemed great. I didn't hear anything from the old girl, but me and the Pro were getting along brilliantly. That new console excitement has reinvigorated my desire to play games, so I've been going through my library and checking out loads that I'd never played or bounced off of for whatever reason. I was happy, or so I thought. I can't get rid of the nagging thought that now my PS5 is galloping in pastures new, my PS5 Pro is missing something. A PS5 disc drive. That nagging thought has got a point. It's not just Forspoken that now lies unplayable. I've got about 40 PS4 games on a shelf and a smattering of PS5 ones. Oh god, I really do need a PS5 disc drive. A future without a drive and a console feels restrictive and gated in a bad way. It's not a private estate with a fancy gate that opens when your massive Land Rover approaches. It's a £160 train ticket to Sheffield because there's no other option. What an idiot I've been, again. It's not helped, frankly, that the Black Friday sales have started. Final Fantasy XVI dropped to £15 and Lords of the Fallen to just £13. The latter supposedly a gem on the PS5 Pro. Both of these are at least double the price on the digital PlayStation Store, and the same runs true for loads of games. I've essentially locked myself out of the physical library I already own, and the ability to cheaply buy plenty of games I want to own. But it's not just Black Friday that's going to make me stew in my regret soup. Charity shops, boot fairs, and of course CEX have PS5 games available for reasonable prices. Well, maybe not always CEX. And now I'm entirely locked out of finding a good deal on an old, dusty copy of GTA 5 in a damp field in the middle of Southborough, or buying a used copy of Demon's Souls off eBay. The more affordable route to video games is entirely inaccessible to me now, and yes, I know that's ironic considering I just forked out for a PS5 Pro, but allow me to wallow, please. On an impulse driven no doubt by some kind of Black Friday frenzy, I bought Final Fantasy XVI and Lord of the Fallen. That was it. I now had to buy a PS5 disc drive. The official PS5 disc drive for both the PS5 Pro and the discless PS5 costs £99.99. There are no third-party options. I knew stock was in and out, but assumed that after a few days of trying, I'd nab one, and my life would return to a happy equilibrium. Wrong. I'm 6 days into Operation Disk Drive, and I'm starting to unravel. I've got 3 automatic stock checking tools open all day. I've checked them 3 times while writing this, although the irony of missing out while writing this hasn't deserted me. I manually check all the websites that have recently had stock whenever I get the chance, and the first thing I do in the morning is refresh PlayStation Direct. I've seen the buy button so many times only for my basket to appear empty once clicking it that I'm semi-convinced I'm being taunted in some kind of Truman Show setup. eBay has been calling to me in the darkest moments of the night. £140 isn't so bad, it suggests. You're only really spending £40 if you think about it. It adds in a way that makes no sense even if you do think about it. And I have thought about it. Soon I'm going to have 3 unopened PS5 games I want to play that I can't. Is £40 worth it if it means I can get off this bullet train to misery? I refuse. I have some dignity, and it seems to stop at £99.99. All this has got me thinking though, what's gonna happen when the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox comes out? According to gi.biz, this year less than 20% of game sales on Xbox were physical, and on PS5 it's just over 30%. As the site says, this will vary game to game, but it's only really Nintendo with the Switch that's maintaining a high percentage of physical sales on the platform at about 65%. There are issues surrounding the ownership of media too, with physical games seen to be on a steadier ground, but these days, most games you buy on discs are updated so much digitally post-release that in some cases they end up barely resembling the original version. You might be one of the few people who owns a boxed copy of Concord on PS5, but now it's nothing more than a museum piece. Digital games also risk falling victim to the same epidemic that's hit digital media in recent years. Once solely digital games are removed from an online game store, they run the risk of becoming lost media. The haunting animated series Over the Garden Wall has suffered a similar fate. As with it removed from easy access on streaming sites and DVD copies becoming increasingly rare, it's being backed up to USB drives or hard drives by fans who dread it becoming lost to the media graveyard. The Internet Archive does its best to preserve media, and with the discless future looming ahead, that kind of conservation is going to become more important than ever. Philippe Tremblay, director of subscriptions at Ubisoft, has indicated that not owning physical games isn't going away and puts the onus on gamers, though I do wince at that term, to get comfortable with it. Speaking to gi.biz, he said that people need to feel comfortable with not owning your game. As people embrace that model, they will see that these games will exist, the service will continue, and you'll be able to access them when you feel like. That's reassuring. But that's not really the case. When digital games get removed from online stores, even if you own the game on PS5 say, where do you download it from? What then? That's the furthest thing from reassuring. In that case, you've paid to have access to the game essentially, not the game itself. Losing physical games would be a real kick in the teeth to price-savvy gamers and for collectors. On PC, games tend to be cheaper from the off, but there are also multiple stores like Steam and Epic, not to mention digital key e-commerce sites to buy games from, which drives competition. As I've already mentioned, consoles without disk drives gate their users from competitive discount pricing, and this will inevitably see the cost of gaming rise even further on the next generation of devices. I'm not ready for that future, and I hope other people feel the same. Maybe, if enough of us start to voice our concern, we can convince PlayStation and Xbox that physical media still has a place and is valued. Being forced to buy a disk drive add-on for the PS6 will be the beginning of the end. And it'll be a long beginning because there will never be any in stock. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and a big thanks to Tom Orry from Eurogamer for letting me expand upon and videoify his article. You can read the original on Eurogamer.net. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you somewhat enjoyed the terrifying future of only digital games being in our life, and subscribe to Eurogamer if you haven't already for more of this kind of good stuff. Now, I am gonna go and thank God that I still have my original Xbox 360 to replay Fable 2 on, so I'll see you folks next time.